The arena in Serbia hummed with anticipation, long before the first punch was thrown, a low electric murmur rolling through the crowd like distant thunder waiting to break. Under the harsh white lights, the ring stood as a lonely stage, ropes trembling slightly as if they too understood what was coming. This was more than just another 4-round contest in the super middleweight division. This was a proving ground. In the gold corner, dressed in white, stood Almir Memic, the home fighter, a man whose journey had been carved through years of quiet progression, setbacks, and redemption. From early defeats in youth tournaments to a defining victory over Olympic bronze medalist Lewis Richardson, Memic had slowly built himself into a composed, calculated fighter, one no longer driven by chaos, but by purpose. Across from him, in the black corner, stood Davron Bozorov of Moldova, a compact, determined fighter with his own scars from the amateur circuit. He had tasted defeat on the IBA pro stage before, falling short in Madrid, but there was no hesitation in his eyes tonight. He had shared the ring with elite competition, even pushing into the European quarterfinals against top-tier opposition. Now, under the noise of the Serbian crowd, he wasn't just fighting Memic, he was fighting doubt, history, and expectation. As the referee called them to the center, the tension crystallized. Gloves touched. No more build-up, no more talk. Just 4 rounds to settle everything. The opening round unfolded like a chess match played at high speed, each man probing, testing, searching for weakness. Memic immediately took the center of the ring, asserting control with subtle authority. His jab, long, flicking, and persistent, began to dictate the geography of the fight. It wasn't thrown with reckless power, but with intention, a measuring stick that kept Bozorov at bay while quietly setting traps. Bozorov, however, was far from passive. He dipped low, slipping under the Serbian's reach, and fired sharp counters, most notably a crisp right hand that cut through as Memic attempted to initiate his own offense. It was a warning shot, a reminder that this fight would not be one-sided. Memic responded by mixing levels, stabbing the body with his jab before looping shots over the top, gradually pushing Bozorov toward the ropes. The Moldovan fighter showed resilience, doubling his own jab and digging to the body when opportunities appeared. But it was Memic's forward pressure and cleaner volume that began to shape the narrative of the round. Still, it wasn't dominance, it was tension. A single mistake from either man could have shifted momentum instantly. As the final seconds ticked away, both fighters exchanged cautiously, each aware that the margins were razor-thin. The bell rang, and while Memic may have edged it, the message was clear. This was going to be a fight defined by inches, not miles. Round 2 saw the tempo subtly rise, the rhythm becoming more deliberate, more punishing. Memic began to refine his approach, varying the trajectory of his jab, sometimes snapping it from shoulder level, other times flicking it upward from the waist, making it harder for Bozorov to anticipate. It was a small adjustment, but one that started to pay dividends. Bozorov, tight behind his guard, revealed a vulnerability. When he brought his gloves high to protect his head, his body became exposed. Memic noticed, and like any seasoned fighter, he exploited it. He began to dig in with left hooks and straight rights to the midsection, targeting the ribs with precision. Each shot wasn't just about immediate damage, it was about accumulation, about planting seeds that would bear fruit in the later rounds. Bozorov responded with grit, firing back to the body himself, and refusing to be overwhelmed. There were moments where he surged forward, landing solid punches that forced Memic to reset, reminding the crowd that he was still very much in the fight. But overall, the Serbian maintained control, keeping the fight at a range that suited him, stepping forward behind his jab, and forcing Bozorov to react, rather than initiate. As the round closed, the pattern had become clear. Memic dictating pace and position, Bozorov searching for moments to disrupt it. The crowd could feel the shift, a growing sense that the home fighter was beginning to take command. By the third round, the fight had entered its decisive phase, the point where strategy gives way to consequence. Memic's earlier work began to show. His punches carried more authority now, his combinations flowing with greater confidence. He started to string together sequences, jab upstairs, right hand to the body, followed by another shot over the top, forcing Bozorov into defensive shells along the ropes. The Moldovan fighter, to his credit, refused to fold. Time and again he answered back, firing combinations of his own, especially when pinned, showing heart and resilience that kept him competitive. But there was a noticeable difference now. The accumulation of Memic's attacks was taking its toll. His feints became sharper, freezing Bozorov just long enough to land clean, punishing shots. A well-timed right hand snapped Bozorov's head back, followed by another digging blow to the body that drew a visible reaction. The Serbian crowd roared, sensing their fighter closing in, yet Bozorov, stubborn and composed, found moments to counter, landing a solid right hand that briefly halted Memic's advance. It was a reminder that even under pressure, he remained dangerous. Still, the balance had shifted. Memic was no longer just controlling the fight. He was imposing himself, forcing Bozorov to fight at his pace, under his terms. As the bell ended the third, the question wasn't who was ahead. It was whether Bozorov had enough left to turn it around. The final round carried a different kind of tension. Not desperation, but confirmation. Memic entered knowing he was ahead, his earlier rounds having built a clear lead. Instead of reckless aggression, he chose control, maintaining distance, keeping Bozorov in front of him, and picking his moments carefully. There were flashes of urgency, brief bursts where he pressed forward, looking to finish strong, but they came in measured waves rather than sustained attacks. Bozorov, meanwhile, fought with quiet determination, slipping punches, rolling under shots, and occasionally firing back with sharp counters that drew respect. He knew the fight was slipping away, but he refused to surrender it easily. The exchanges in this round carried a sense of mutual acknowledgement, two fighters who understood each other's strengths, each trying to impose their will one last time. As the final seconds approached, Memic surged forward, unleashing a late flurry, perhaps seeking a statement finish for his home crowd. But Bozorov stood firm, absorbing and responding, proving his durability until the final bell. When it rang, there was no controversy, no uncertainty. The judges' scorecards reflected what had unfolded. Almir Memic, winner by clear decision, taken every round. It was a composed, disciplined performance, a testament to his growth as a fighter. For Bozorov, defeat, but not failure. He had shown resilience, skill, and heart. And as the crowd applauded both men, it was clear, this wasn't just a result. It was a chapter in two evolving careers, each shaped by the unforgiving truth of the ring.